Hi, this is Michael Rubin, and we've been looking at the Mixolydian scale, and we just took a look at the C Mixolydian scale and what it could do for you, especially in the first octave. So now we're going to talk about the G Mixolydian scale. Now, in order to find a Mixolydian scale, you have to find the major scale that has the same root. So if you're looking for the G Mixolydian scale, you have to find the G major scale. What are the notes in the G major scale? G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Now, if you don't know your G major scale by heart by now, I really recommend you use it, because although you can play on any one of the 12 harps, I think you might have noticed that I suggest getting very comfortable with the theory of a C harmonica. And since a C harmonica plays cross harp, second position, in the key of G, and cross harp is where most harmonica players spend their time, most of the time, it really is valuable for you to know the G major scale like the back of your hand. You should not have to think about it anymore. And when I say know it, I mean, what's the third note in the key of G? G, A, B. Oh, it's B. You shouldn't have to count that. You should know. The third note is B. What's the fifth note? D. So once you find the major scale of the same name of the Mixolydian scale that you're trying to find, then what you need to do is take the seventh note from that major scale and flat it. In other words, lower it 1/2 step, or one keyboard note. What is the seventh note in the key of G major? G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. F sharp is the seventh note. Now the next note is G. So the seventh note is always just before the keynote alphabetically. Okay? So that's easy to remember. Now whether or not it's sharp or flat or a natural, you have to know your scale. So in any case, in the G major scale, F sharp is the seventh note. So in order to take the G major scale and turn it into the G Mixolydian scale, we have to take F sharp and flat it. One keyboard note lower than F sharp is F. Therefore, the G Mixolydian scale is G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now that's all white notes. We've already looked at a scale that has all white notes. What is it? The C major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do in the key of C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So the C major scale and the G Mixolydian scale are the exact same notes, but they start on a different root. The C major scale starts on C and the G Mixolydian scale starts on G. So the C major scale and the G Mixolydian scale are modes of one another. Now, that does not mean that when somebody says, let's play a blues in the key of G, that you should be thinking, I'm going to play in the key of C major. Okay? You still want to think in the key of G, because what matters in terms of what we hear, except if you have perfect pitch where you're hearing the notes, is the relationship of the note in the melody compared to the root note of the key. So if you're in the key of G, how far away is the note that you're playing to the note G? And when I say far away, I mean how many half steps away, how many keyboard notes away. So for example, if you're in the key of C, the note G is 7 notes higher than C. And that's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's 7 notes higher. We know that sound as the so note. Do, re, mi, fa, so. Okay? The so note is 7 notes higher than the root. But in the key of G, the note G is 0 notes higher than the root. So when we listen to it, it sounds 0 notes higher. It sounds like do. Okay? So even though they have the same notes, you still have to think about those notes in terms of what they will sound like to the audience. And what they sound like depends on their distance to the root, as measured by the amount of half steps between them. So when we write this down, if you go back and you look at the video I made about the G major scale, we're going to write out the notes G, A, B, C, D, E, F. And we're going to stop at F because we're keeping all our G's on the left-hand side of the screen. Now the lowest G is 2 draw, but that is not where I'm going to start writing it down. When I play the scale, I am going to start on 2 draw. 2 draw is G. In the key of G, G is the do note. Do, re, mi, G is do. In order to get the scale to sound right, I have to start on do. However, there are notes that are lower than 2 draw on the C harmonica. What is the lowest note on the C harmonica? C, 1 blow. Is there a C in the G Mixolydian scale? Yes, it is the 4th note, G, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4. So our first row, we're going to write down C, 1 blow, as our starting point. Then D, 1 draw, E, 2 blow, F, 2 double bend. And then we're going to start the next row on our G note, 2 draw. Now when we play it, we're going to begin on G, 2 draw, because that is the do note. So here is where the G Mixolydian scale is on the C harmonica. Now if you were to compare what we just wrote down to the C major scale, it's the same notes. The difference is, where do you start when you play? Do you start on C? Then you're in the key of C. Do you start on G? Then you're in the key of G. And we're in the key of G on this one. So when we play this, we're going to start on 2 draw. We're going to ascend as far as we can go, up to 10 blow. We're going to descend as far as we can go, past 2 draw, all the way down to 1 blow. And then we are going to re-ascend back up to 2 draw and stop. We're going to tongue articulate all the bends. And when ascending, we're going to tongue articulate the notes that follow the bends that are in the same hole as the bend just played. Now, I would recommend working on your bends before playing this scale. Work on 2 double bend for 5 minutes. Work on 3 double bend. 10 single. Then when you play the scale, I recommend don't self-correct yourself. Shoot for the best bend you can and move on. You're trying to teach yourself the flow of the scale. So let me find a C harp. Okay, so here I'm going to play the G Mixolydian scale on my C harmonica. Ta-da. So, this scale should be fairly easy for you if you've been practicing your C major scale, because it's the same notes. So, the Mixolydian scale is a bluesy scale. So, in order to make this scale sound correct, you have to tell the band to play in the key whose root note is the same note as your key note. Whose root note, so I don't know if I'm explaining that right. In order to make the G Mixolydian scale sound correct, you have to tell the band to play in the key of G, even though you're on a C harmonica, and even though the G Mixolydian scale is a mode of the C major scale. You have to say to the band, play in the key of G. And since the Mixolydian scale is a bluesy scale, to make it sound correct, you have to say to the band, play a blues in the key of G. Now, let's think about jamming with this scale. Let's think about the blow notes. Are there any blow notes without bending that are not members of this scale? Now at this point, a lot of my students look at the chart and they say 3 blow. 3 blow is not in this scale because we didn't write down 3-blow. What is the name of the note in 3-blow? Well, all of the blow notes are C, E, G, C, E, G, C, E, G, C. So 3-blow is C, E, G. Is there a G in the G Mixolydian scale? Yes, there is. Therefore, even though we didn't write down 3-blow because we used its duplicate to draw, it's still in the scale, and therefore it will still sound good. So therefore, are there any notes, any blow notes that are not in this scale? No. Every blow note, without bending or overblowing, every blow note is a member of the G Mixolydian scale. Therefore, if you're feeling lost, blow. Are there any draw notes, without bending or overblowing, any draw notes that are not in this scale? No. The draw notes are D, G, B, D, F, A, B, D, F, A. They are all in this scale. Therefore, if you're feeling lost, draw. What this means is you could play any blow note or any draw note without bending or overblowing and sound good in blues in the key of G on a C harmonica. This is one of the essential things about cross harp. This is kind of how cross harp works. So much so that if I were working with a composer and he says, I want to write a song for the harmonica, but I don't understand how harmonica works, I might say to him, think G Mixolydian on a C harmonica. If he went to music school, he'll get that right away, and he'll be able to write a nice song for you. Now, of course, it is an overgeneralization to say that when you play in the key of G, cross harp, or second position, that you have to play Mixolydian. You could play any scale you want. You could play the G major scale, the G minor scale, the G blues scale, any scale you want. Because once you learn all your bends and overblows, you can play any note on any harmonica. However, the G Mixolydian scale is about as easy as it gets. And it's the basis of cross harp. Now, there are some bends, 2-double and 3-double and 10-single, F, A, and B. That's good information. Where are the white notes that you can bend to? 2-double, 3-double, and 10-single. Those are the only bent white notes. Every other bent note is a black note on the keyboard. That's good to know. Now, when I jam, I want to remind the audience I'm in the key of G. So every now and then I'm going to resolve on a G note. 2 draw, 3 blow, 6 blow, 9 blow. And I want to say, this is bluesy. I want to suggest the Mixolydian scale. What is the note that really makes the Mixolydian scale Mixolydian? The flat 7th, the F note. Therefore, I'm going to hit 2-double bend, 9 draw, 5 draw. I should have put that in order. 2-double bend, 5 draw, 9 draw. Okay? I can hit any other note I want as long as it's in the scale. And if I want to take a risk, I can hit a note that's outside of the scale. So give me a second. I'm going to set up my band on the box. And here's my G Mixolydian jam. F, G, G, F, Okay, now every now and then I heard a 4-bend, and I think I heard a 3 single bend in there. You know, old habits die hard. You do your best. But in general, that was the Mixolydian scale. Did you see how bluesy that was? You don't have to make a million bends. As a matter of fact, I don't even think I hit 3 double bend. You don't have to hit a million bends, okay? But 2 double bend is a very bluesy note, and that's the main thing I want you to take from this. Hit your flat 7s. Hit your Fs. Okay? Now, I want you to understand, this is not just G Mixolydian on a C harp. The tablature that we've written out, the holes and whether or not it's blowing or drawing or bending, that is the cross harp or second position Mixolydian scale for any harmonica. So if I had a G harmonica and I played this tablature, I would play in the cross harp key for the G harp, which is D. If you could look at your circle of fifths, what comes after G clockwise? D. So if I told the band play a blues in the key of D and pulled out my G harmonica and played this tablature, I would sound good. All right. Next time, third position Mixolydian. I will see you soon.